To the Business Weekly show on Citi TV. The show is a 1-hour wrap of all the stories making the world of business this week. My name is Michael Ogbodu. Stay with us as we take you on a business journey. Sometime last year, Citi FM and Citi TV began a campaign to promote Ghana rice. Now, the campaign caught on with a lot of people, and before long, they began enjoying locally produced rice. Now, the station even organized a Made in Ghana fair, and within minutes, all the local rice sellers sold out. Now, it trickled down such that even local rice producers were running out of stock. It clearly shows you that the local rice industry cannot meet the demand of the nation. So government is making some efforts to address this in the next 3 years.
The two-day Agriculture Input Fair and Stakeholder Sensitization Program was attended by players in the agri value chain in the country. Speaking at the program, the Director of Crop Services at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Seth Oseyakoto, noted that government is putting the right measures in place to make self-sufficient in rice production by 2023. Currently, Ghana imports $331 million worth of rice annually.
The focus on rice. As a country, we want to reach self-sufficiency by 2023. And by 2023, all of us assembled here, we consider you as a player to achieve that. For instance, 2021, you want to distribute as many as 13,400 metric tons of rice seeds to farmers. If all of us assembled here collectively can do that, we are going to put around 268,000 hectares under cultivation. Now the productivity level that all of us have achieved when we started from 2017 regarding rice, we started from 2.72 metric tons per hectare. As I'm talking to you, we have reached 4 tons per hectare. If you have anything to go by, and we are going to achieve 4 tons per hectare, with the area and the seed that I've mentioned, we are going to have at least 1 million tons of paddy rice.
The head of Input Distribution and Agro Dealer Development Unit at AGRA, Dr. Victor Entry, stressed the need for more digital infrastructure to speed up the implementation and use of digital mechanisms for agricultural transformation.
One thing that we also need to critically look at collectively is how to let goods move from one end to another without we following them. That's why I spoke about the digitization. It's something that I want the policymakers to critically look at.
A lot of people used to enjoy eating out until COVID-19 struck. Now that meant that they had to change their habits in order not to contract the virus. In as much as that decision was to protect themselves, it had a negative impact on businesses like hotels and restaurants and the likes. And for these businesses, it meant that a lot of them had to shut down and also lay off some of their workers. Now, for professionals like chefs who have been trained to produce and cook for us sumptuous meals, their future currently hangs on the balance.
The closure of the borders in March as a means to contain the spread of the coronavirus resulted in the shutting down of several businesses in the hospitality sector. Although the government introduced social interventions to help hotels and restaurants stay afloat, not all of them could withstand the economic shocks of the pandemic. Chef Richland was once busily tending to clients at Little Havana before the virus forced its owners to shut down.
We have to close down for some time because of COVID. Initially, we were thinking it's just for a month. Then it went. Then sadly, we shut down for life. And I have a family that depends on me. I have to go and come and feed these people. And this is what is happening. And mind you, if when you are working, if you save a little money and the money got finished, then it means you have to start depending on people, going to people and hello, can you help me with this? And that can happen all the time.
Chef Shadrach worked at Burger and Relish for 5 years and was certain of his job security until the coronavirus drove the owners to close down. He now spends his days at home waiting for his next job opportunity.
I was surprised when I got to know that no, we are going to lockdown. We need to come home, and I mean, there's nothing at all. I was feeling so bad, and we had no option because it is not our wish for something like that should happen. But you know, we can't say anything. If the owner said he wants to close down, we have nothing to say. So we had no option than to come and stay home and just do nothing.
Chef Ruby operated her restaurant out of one of the most prestigious hotels in Accra.
I remember just before the corona, we have ordered a lot of stuff from London. We had a new menu coming out, so we have invested heavily into what would have been normally 3 months. We would have got rid of it. We're talking about dry goods, chocolates, sugar things, some spices, different things. And we were looking at it 3 months later, these things are all sitting down. Some are going out of stock, some are going out of date. We're throwing things away. It was challenging. So it was so difficult at the time until it got to around, I think, September now, and it became impossible. You realize that you're not running the same sort of business anymore. You have to look to other things to be able to do. And I think it affected different people different ways. Our restaurant was sitting in a hotel. Hotels were more affected than anything. So you look at it as clients that were staying in a hotel will eat your food. So if they're not coming, that means there's already a dip into your revenue.
All hope is not lost as Chef Ruby started her organization, The Food People, to help train the next generation of chefs.
I created this, The Food People, by myself. And the idea of The Food People is we want to really make sure that we're innovative. We're bringing trend into this country. We are campaigning for training for the chefs. For me, education is a key. Volunteering to even be in the kitchen and spending 6 weeks in there to be trained. If we want the industry to be great, we need to spend time, energy, and effort into making sure that people are trained and advised properly. So I'll say definitely this is a time that we need to retrain, regroup, making sure that education is, at least there's some sort of curriculum that if you want to be a proper chef or a proper cook or baker, and so on, so you are able to study, and it's international, and it can stand anywhere in the world.
Chef Elijah Amo Ado, Executive Director for Food for All Africa, believes the Ghana Tourism Authority should be doing more to help chefs who are currently unemployed.
The Ghana Tourism Levy, which for some time now most hospitality companies has been paying to government, should be channeled towards benefiting directly people like the chefs who have lost their jobs. It should be channeled towards creating opportunity for such young people. For us to build a resilient hospitality and tourism sector, strong focus must be placed on the people who work directly, who interact directly with tourists. When tourists visit our country, where do they visit first and foremost? It's our hotels, our restaurants, and they are welcomed with our food.
I'm yet to meet anyone who enjoys paying their rent. At least I don't. I pray my landlady isn't watching. It can be such a rat race. You work hard, save up over the years, and you pay your rent, the cycle repeats. You'll be fortunate to even have a landlord who doesn't increase his rent on a regular basis. The situation is even worse in Accra. You might have the money, and getting a place to rent will become a challenge. You would get some, and they're not even conducive. And the ones that are readily available to are way out of your budget. I gather that in East Legon, you can get a one-bedroom apartment for as high as 1,200 cedis. Trust me, those buildings are really nice. But how on earth can I afford 1,200 cedis for a bedroom when I'd most likely need more than one bedroom? The only solution for people like me now is to own your own house. And thankfully, government is doing something to address this problem.
Ask
Access to decent and adequate housing is often considered as a basic human right. However, low-income households face difficulties in accessing not only affordable housing solutions, but also housing of good quality. As part of efforts to bridge the housing gap in the country, Minister of Finance Ken Ofori-Atta says public sector workers and low-income earners in the country will in the coming months have the opportunity to rent and eventually own homes under the National Housing and Mortgage Fund. The fund was set up to pilot two schemes, the National Mortgage Scheme and Affordable Housing Real Estate Investment Trusts, or Rent-to-Own Scheme, to provide extensive construction of residential housing nationwide. Under the scheme, 1,500 housing units are expected to be delivered at affordable prices to workers at our Dome City estates, which is a private initiative supported by government and participating banks, namely GCB Bank Limited, Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited, and Republic Bank Ghana Limited. 245 of the houses will be provided in phase 1 of the project, while 320 and 400 houses would be tackled in phases 2 and 3 respectively. Speaking to the media after paying a working visit to the Tema Development Cooperation Affordable Enclave and Adom City Estates at Tema Communities 26 and 25 respectively, Mr. Ofori-Atta said the intervention will reduce mortgage rates by over 60% as compared to the average market rate of 28%.
The issue that we determined was that the financing costs were too high. So how are you able to create a mortgage and give the type of subsidy to enable public or private sector people to now take that? So one of the transition issues is the rent to own, so that as you pay, gradually we turn it into a mortgage for you to be able to participate in that. % from government so that we can reduce that. The banks would also accumulate resources, but the blended rate should not go beyond 10 or 12%. Yeah, and I think that will be rare compared to maybe 28 or 34.
Minister of Works and Housing, Samuel Atachia, also says the project will see the country narrow its housing deficit drastically in the next 4 years.
We can give you a very, very, very strong indication that the deficit will be reduced considerably. If we are able to wipe out the deficit by even 40%, it means that we've done fairly well, because the deficit is 2 million housing units. So if we push very hard, the mix of what we have in the district and municipalities, and then the cities where we have the teeming crowd and workers, and that would have been a major thing.
It's quite interesting, the perception that second-hand goods are of higher quality than brand new ones. It's probably because of the high standards under which a lot of these products are manufactured outside the country. Some people would rather buy, for instance, a second-hand fridge, iron, and in some cases, clothes. But did you know that Parliament some time ago passed a law that banned the importation of second-hand fridges because of the negative impact they're having on the environment? The law is being enforced, but clearly, we have a long way to go.
The Energy Commission in 2008 introduced a ban on the importation of used fridges in the country. The move was part of steps by the Commission to ensure energy efficiency and prevent harm to the environment through emissions from these gadgets. As part of the measures, the Commission recommended the use of R600A and R134A as certified and standard gases in filling compressors of refrigerators. The importers and sellers of the used fridges say even though they have been importing refrigerators which use the recommended gases, their businesses still remain threatened.
And our main problem is this. There have been several dialogues and collaboration with government since 2008 up to date concerning the ban on importation of second-hand fridges in the country. Initially, there was a dialogue between us and the EP and the Energy Commission that they want to ban the importation of used fridges in the country, in a sense that they want to establish a refrigeration assembly plant in the country to replace the job that we're doing. But we could see that right from 2008 up to date, there have been several promises here and there that this plant is going to come on. But up to date, there have not been any evidence to show that this plant is coming into being. And right now, the job that we are doing, that is taking care of our wives and our kids, this job has been in Tata now. Now, if you import fridges from Europe to Ghana, they are being seized at the port. Meanwhile, the measures that we are putting in place, that these are the things that we're supposed to meet before we import fridges into the country. As at date, we are meeting those measures in a sense that the compressors that are fitted on the brand new fridges are the same compressors that are fitted on the home use fridges that we have in the country today.
Members of the association are thus appealing to the government to reconsider its decision on the ban to safeguard their businesses.
What shop no buy my no buy my say. What shop say? You for new motors. And new fridges are 134 RS600. At the international and family. Never do Ghana ha. No what the fridges enough for yourself. You go for Energy Commission and EPA for no.
Individuals who patronize these used fridges also urged the government to rescind its decision.
Consumer, my chon so by no, only 1 year. And I'm quite toss, I know boy be make quite home use. Maybe I see there been a say, you know, bono, and energy was a debent there, Ben, I'm quite toss, I know boy. Make what turn over here, any 1 year, my quality no fridge, you know, as the dam says, I'm no casa. Maybe I be a year, then be a mechanic about. I must say, made electricity for more than 20 million.
The association says it will hit the streets if their concerns are not addressed.
Some time ago, a gentleman called Musa passed by the office. He seemed rather frustrated. He had executed a contract for a company a year ago and still hadn't been paid. He borrowed money to carry out that project, and now his debtors are after him. In the midst of all of this, COVID-19 struck and made matters even worse. Now his debtors are after him, and he's not sure what to do. Life has been very hard for him. Musa says he's not the only one that this company owes. There are 22 others like him. And to make matters worse, this company in particular is no longer operational. They are hoping that governments can come to their rescue and helping them retrieve their monies. Government announced the termination of its power concession agreement with the Power Distribution Service (PDS) over allegations of fraud in the deal. The Electricity Company of Ghana (ECG) has since resumed operations as the country's power distributor. This situation has left the fate of these contractors hanging in the balance as they seek to get paid for services they rendered to the erstwhile entity. One of these contractors laments how her livelihood has been severely impacted by the non-payment of their monies.
But Abba, why this? I'm suffering, my sister, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. People's money are with me. If I even see a call, I can't take. What do I do? They should help us. Our issue is simple here. We are here to plead to the government. We know President Akufo-Addo is a listening government. We are pleading, please, he should help us to get the money.
This is not the first time these contractors have raised concerns about the non-payment for contracts they executed over a year ago. Earlier in July this year, they had indicated to City Business News their frustration. But several months down the lane, the situation still persists. Spokesperson for the group, Al-Hassan Abubakar, says all efforts, including petitioning the presidency over their concerns, have yielded no results. Meanwhile, management of ECG says it is making efforts to address the concerns of these contractors. However, this response is not new, as the company had given similar assurances a few months ago.
So we sent a petition to the ECG legal team, and up to now, anytime you get in there to find out what is the problem or what is going on, they tell us they are working on it. And now, up to almost a year now, we've not heard anything. So we read to the legal director, Minister of Finance, and then the power, what's the name, energy PRO minister. And up to now, we've not heard anything. So we decided that this is where we can come and maybe the appropriate people can hear from us and then come to our aid to help us get our money.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world. Telling Ghana's business stories. Citi TV brings you a dedicated business news bulletin that showcases the business temperature of the country in one go. The business dashboard, the markets, industry, and policies that affect the way we do business. All covered in one bulletin. The business dashboard, 7 p.m. every weeknight on Citi TV.
Times are hard, and with the Christmas coming, we are not even sure how we are going to celebrate it. So you can imagine how customers of Black Shield Capital are feeling right now when they are not even sure when their money will come, whilst their other colleagues are being paid along the line. China people are very frustrated. You'll be surprised to find out what they did the other time in a bid to get their monies paid them.
The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, in September this year said government was set to announce a bailout package for clients of the 50 defunct fund management companies. According to SEC, the package will be given in phases, with the first phase, which was scheduled to begin on Wednesday, September 23, covering clients of the 20 companies currently under official liquidation. Earlier reports suggested that no action could be taken for clients of Black Shield Capital Management Limited, First Bank Financial Services Limited, Apex Capital Partners, Ideal Capital Partners Limited, and others, since they had pending cases in court challenging the revocation of their licenses by the Commission. This didn't sit well with the members of the Coalition of Aggrieved Fund Management Customers who petitioned the Registrar General over their exclusion. On Thursday evening, a number of them, customers of Black Shield Capital Limited, formerly Gold Coast Fund Management, thronged the premises of Citi FM and Citi TV with another petition.
Citi FM and Citi TV has couched a niche for themselves in terms of balance, in terms of the media space, and in terms of being unbiased when it comes to social issues and economic issues that affect ordinary Ghanaians like ourselves. And that was the more reason why we took the opportunity to come and petition your media organization, because we believe that it is a step in the right direction that could lead for those who matter in this issue to really act on our concern for us.
The group earlier submitted similar petitions to the Ghana Traditional Council, the Chief Imam, and the Christian Council, among others. They, however, indicated that the non-payment of their monies will come with implications for the incumbent government on December 7.
When we were beaten at the Registrar General's department, this man was there. This man fled because the police were chasing him.
With regards to the elections, what's your threat?
So what I'm saying is that, do you think that after all this man has gone through demanding his money and the government has not listened to him, will it be very fair and logical as a rational human being to go and just vote for him that, oh, you have done well? No way, we can't do that. We are human beings, we have feelings. Our feelings have been hurt. Unless he pay us to relieve us from that feelings, we can't vote for him.
Those were some angry and frustrated customers. But while they are calling on government to pay them despite the court's injunction, another group in Kumasi is asking government to speed up the process of paying them. Government had earlier announced that most of them have been paid, but according to the group, it is not true. They say that more than 80% of them have not received their monies.
The group wants the receiver to expedite processes to pay all affected customers within the shortest possible time. They also want the government and all institutions involved in the whole exercise to come clear on the payment processes.
Councillor is displeased
with the slow pace of the payment of the locked-up funds of the majority of its members. Yes. To the extent that we have even been tempted to term the mode of payment as the tortoise or snail-paced model of payment. Yes. Yes. It has been over a year now since the receiver was made to start the payment of affected depositors. But as we speak with you now, we can confidently say that over 80% of affected depositors are yet to receive their funds in full. Yes. True now. If the president said he had directed the Ministry of Finance to work with the Bank of Ghana during the Christmas and New Year's message to the nation on the 24th of December 2019 to ensure that we are treated like the customers or depositors of the 9 collapsed universal banks, then we want all the affected customers or depositors to be paid within the shortest possible time.
Affected customers of Noble Dream and Africa Trust, as well as some collapsed microfinance companies, have accused the receiver of delaying the process to pay their locked-up funds.
What baffles my mind is, I want to find out from the receiver, what coefficient formula did he use in securing the funds from the government? He should tell us, because he got the money from the government based on a data that he solicited from the affected clients. And now that you've gotten the money, you want to hide behind technicalities and tell us that you don't have our data, so you can't pay us. This one is something that beats my imagination. Because, look, he mandated some commissioners of oath around Kumasi here, and they collated our manual data. It was based on that figures that he went to the government to claim that money, and now he is telling us that unless he gets the data, he cannot pay us. Fortunately for us, Mr. Uswefriye is in town, and his prototype signature is with the Bank of Ghana. They can use that one to cross-check the manual claim sheet that we submitted.
14. I've not even received half peso. About 40 million I put into the Noble Dream. Not a half peso that I have received. When I went there to collect, they said they don't see. When they make research for data. What is data? What means by data? Data to pay us. They don't get to see data. But when I was coming to pay the money, you get the money without showing me any data.
Now I was saying yeah, do my abua fabric no. I was saying yeah, do my abua that mystery warrior. Na na do me slow. Sabagi biaba. Na so what ma komo mwadia. Eni ya oba. Ona na obi bia mi jina so na me slow. Bua me.
The frustrated customers have further appealed to the receiver to do all he can to trace the data of customers of some collapsed microfinance companies so they can also access their funds.
It has now been made public by the receiver that he cannot pay the affected customers of 34 of the collapsed financial institutions due to his inability to retrieve their data from the appropriate quarters. Some of these institutions are Noble Dream Microfinance Limited, African Trust Microfinance Limited, Boeing Microfinance Company Limited, Man Capital Microfinance Company, Star Plus Microfinance Limited, Abyss Plus Microfinance Limited, Common Capital Microfinance Limited, just to mention a few. Caslock has now gathered that in spite of the above claim, some few customers of Boeing Microfinance Company have started receiving their locked-up funds. We need an explanation about this as well.
The group has served notice it will roll out a series of actions until the government pays all its members.
These days, having a phone is as basic a necessity as wearing clothes. Almost everybody has one. But phones have evolved though. I still remember my father's old Nokia 3310. with the antenna and the yellow screen and so noisy ringtone. But then came the flip phones, colored screen, infrared and Bluetooth features, and yes, touch screens. But with the touch screens, I'm wondering if it's not a deliberate attempt by the phone manufacturers to get us to repeatedly buy phones because they break at the slightest fall. Unlike these big old durable ones that you can almost throw at someone as a weapon for self-defense. But you see, in as much as you're walking around with your phones, there are people out there praying also that you drop your phone and break them so they can make a living.
In line with global trends, the number of mobile subscriptions in Ghana has steadily increased in recent years, rising from 38.9 million in May 2018 to 41.4 million in January 2020, according to figures from the National Communications Authority. This brought the mobile penetration rate to about 140%, considerably above the sub-Saharan African average of 84.4%. The multiplicity of SIM cards has invariably inflated the figures, but the numbers do point strongly to a proliferation of mobile phones amongst Ghanaians. Just like any mechanical device which is used very often, our mobile phones experience wear and tear and thus will require more repair than the average device owned by people. In an attempt to meet the growing demand for phone repairs, different types of repair units since the early 90s have been springing up all over the country, some certified, some not, some on tabletops, while others are housed in story buildings. So how has the phone repairs landscape transformed in recent years? Let's hear from phone technicians Solomon Khan and Sean Abe, who have been in the business for more than a decade.
When we started off, we mostly were fixing keypad phones, those Nokia 3310, the LGs came in, and then before the Samsungs came in, then the iPhone. Now the phones are screen touch, we are fixing screens, we are changing charging system, the phones go off, we get them fixed.
Because those times when you open the phone, you will see some few things you can touch and then deal with it. But now, the way the technology is moving, they are placing some ICs. One IC can do a whole lot of things. When it gets spoiled, it affects a whole lot of things.
So what are the top reasons why people take their phones to the repairer? Your guess is as good as mine.
Problem people normally bring is the screen. The screen. Normally that is the issue normally people bring it. The screen. And then apart from the screen, the phone, another problem is power off. Power off. And then I think the third one is a charging system.
But how affordable or costly can a repair work be? Sean Abe provides some answers.
The cheapest I can fix is the earpiece. Maybe you are speaking, you can hear. You can hear faintly. So then when you bring it, I'll just have to pierce two holes in it and then you can start hearing clearly. Yeah, that's the cheapest. I can charge about 50 cedis for my TNT coming in. Yeah. The most expensive I can fix is the most expensive phone screen. The screens are very expensive. For example, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, the screen can cost about 2,500.
2,000 Ghana cedis for a phone screen? Our checks indicate that such high cost puts a lot of people off about repairing their phones.
2,000. I won't do it. Then I'll prefer getting 1,000 additional money to buy a new phone.
I don't really repair my phones because it's not 100%. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to get the phone as it used to be again. So it gets damaged. I just use it for a while. When I feel like changing it, I change it.
For every person against phone repairs you find, you're likely to find one that will prefer to repair their phone rather than buy a new one. Since phones are a personal commodity in which every user has some sensitive and important data, some customers who favor repairs prefer to have their phones fixed right in front of them. In comes Sean, your mobile repairman. He tells us about his strategy of moving to his customers and how that has helped him grow.
So I used to have a motorbike, then I'll pack the things in it and I'll come. And it was faster than the car. But later I realized that if I can get everything in the car and then I come, so that whatever you want, I have phone cases here that I can give you with added, and then it will make it easier for me. So I can just schedule how long I can come, plan my routes, and then I move. In 2010, I used to have about probably like 10 people, depending on. I went to start chat and they will refer me. Some of them, they want you to come and do their phone at home. So the referrals have increased from office to office, and they want it because they want you to, in their comforts. They don't want
their phones to go out. So they want that security. So you have to come fix it there. Within a few minutes, you are done, and then they are good to go. And now I'm servicing about 20 people within a week.
Theophilus Alabi couldn't agree more.
I believe it helps all of us because I cannot imagine leaving my office, going to a place like Circle where I don't know anybody. And then before you come back, they give you something that is not the right thing. And when you go back, you will not see who you saw there again. So I believe it's better for me as somebody who works 8 to 5, calling somebody just coming over to come and just take meet my need right there and then. So for me, it's a perfect thing, actually.
So how do you take care of your phone or phones so that you limit your trips to the repair shop? Emmanuel Yeboadenchi, manager at the Samsung Franco Trading Service Center, shares his thoughts.
One advice I'll give to customers is, one, anytime you have any issue with your phone, just visit the service center. Don't go anywhere, just decide, boys, and go and fix it there. Just come to the service center. Sometimes your phone might have warranty, but as soon as you take it there, they tamper with it, that's all, it's out of warranty. Moreover, too, whenever you get your phone, you should make sure you get a screen protector, you get a cover for the phone.
You heard it there. We all have to take extra care of our phones. Talking about caution, how much more vigilant can one be when you're a target just because you use an iPhone, carry a laptop in your backpack, drive a fancy car, or dress fashionably? Now, a number of people have been targeted and have suffered police brutality in Nigeria because they fit a number of these descriptions. Now, what is the prospect for individuals who rely on these gadgets because they are tech savvy and run a business with them? And what is the implication of the actions of these security agencies on these individuals? But well,
in 2016, Facebook invested $24 million in Andela, and quite recently, Stripe acquired Paystack for $200 million. With this innovation and great success stories, one can understand why Nigerian youth will engage in technologically inspired ventures. The toxic notion that young Nigerians with laptops are fraudsters is the same stigmatization that enables members of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad to terrorize young Nigerians. This is increasingly threatening the prospects of an otherwise vibrant tech ecosystem in Nigeria. Emeka, not his real name, opens up about the psychological toll his past interactions with SARS has had on him.
I was harassed by SARS. That was around May last year. Wole and I we were going to the airport on our way to Ghana, so we were they harassed us. I took a couple of blows to my head. Last week I wanted to travel, right, and the minute I remembered I'll be passing that same route, I really didn't know what PTSD felt like. Just remembering that I wanted to pass through that road again brought the fresh experience of what happened on that particular day. So at that particular moment, I actually experienced what soldiers that have gone to war experience. Like it brought it back fresh, like it happened just yesterday. When I was traveling to the airport, like I had to change my whole attire. I didn't wear a jean, I didn't wear a top. I wore a native. I wore shoes, and someone even saw me and was asking, okay, why you this dressed up when you are going to the airport? I'm like, hey, I don't want what happened the last time to happen. Let me dress like I'm a big man in the society, so that in case they see me, they won't be tempted to want to harass me and think I know a couple of people, right?
Obina, not his real name, discusses the dangers of being a software developer in Nigeria.
Young and innocent guys. For me as a developer, because I work remotely, doesn't necessarily mean that this thing doesn't affect me, because anytime I step out there, I face the same danger that every other young guy would face as a Nigerian. And it's really, really disheartening. Like, we are always scared. Hope today is a safe day to go out. You don't know. So many people have just woken up like every other normal day, not knowing that they would impact us, and then the next thing, the loss that is, they will come across us, and the next thing is that they lose their life like just every other day. I mean, being a Nigerian is really a scary thing, because there are different forms of dangers that you could just come across by virtue of stepping out of your house and going about looking for your daily bread. To see a change.
Obina pleads with the Nigerian government to grant the youth their basic human right to live dignified lives.
All that we are asking as Nigerians, as youths in the country, is that let our lives have more meaning, have more impact. The government should provide basic infrastructure that would enable any young person to thrive. Like how do you make an ends meet if the basic tools or the basic amenities that you need to go about your life is not there? Like, there is no simple infrastructure or bedrock for anybody to build anything out. Most of the people who have been successful out of this from this country, like most of the success stories you've had, are just individual effort, like hard work that the country cannot take any form of glory for.
A very sad situation there, and our heart goes out to anybody who has been impacted by the whole SARS movement. But still speaking about Nigeria though, Ghana and this country have a lot in common. They are like competitive cousins who are always trying to outdo each other in sports, entertainment, and yes, even jollof rice. And you see the similarities these countries have and the way they are interdependent economically and the like. It means that if anything goes wrong in Nigeria, Ghana will definitely feel the impact. An economist, Dr. Lord Mensah, says Ghanaians should be concerned about the EndSARS Now protest ongoing in Nigeria, as he believes its ripple effect can have negative consequences on the Ghanaian economy. The protest, which has been ongoing for the past 2 weeks, was quite peaceful until soldiers on Tuesday night opened fire on some of the protesters, killing and injuring a number of them. Dr. Mensah insists that if the protest escalates, Ghana should expect to see an influx of Nigerians, as it is one of the country's only Anglophone neighbors.
If you look at the recent money laundering ban that we had, it's mainly because of the influx of Nigerians operating in that space who are now in Ghana. So if it continues, the tendency is that it will spill over to our part of the region. It's very, very high. Remember, Nigerians, if you look at their boundary, they are mainly, French-speaking country. They are like Ghana. That is why anytime they move from their country to the east side of their direction, they come to Ghana because they will not be comfortable in Benin. Neither would they be comfortable in Togo because of French language barrier. So they move straight to Ghana. So if it continues, we're going to have a lot of Nigerians moving to Ghana. And I don't know, we don't have the capacity to absorb them as we speak now. So, and look at their size. It's a big country. So if it continues, we're going to have a lot of spillovers and effectively can affect other economies within the sub-region.
Ghana's Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta had earlier expressed similar apprehensions, describing the current disturbances in neighboring Nigeria as worrying.
I think that will be a question everybody will ask if anything that happens in Germany will worry Europeans. It certainly does. It's between population, GDP, etc., has an enormous impact in everything we do here. Yes, so it's something that we care deeply about. There's always a sense of constant entropy around these parts, but we've been able to manage it over time, and so we will. Africa always proves to be a lot more resilient than we think. If you look at COVID, for example, I think on the health aspect, we've come out much stronger than it is. So I would say it's worrying, but it's something that we'll find a way to contain and manage.
The implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement will remove a lot of barriers for business people on the continent. It will enable free movement of people, goods, investments, and the like. But for this agreement to be fully operational, it will require the commitment of all the African countries signed up to it.
The National Conference on the Implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area brought together relevant stakeholders to discuss export development interventions geared towards empowering the private sector to harness the benefits of the AfCFTA. It was under the theme Empowering Ghanaian Businesses to Harness the Benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement under the framework of the National Export Development Strategy. The Secretary General of the AFCFTA, Wamkele Mene, announced the launch of a payment and settlement digital platform to augment the efforts of enhancing market access within Africa.
I am pleased to announce to you today that we are collaborating very closely with the Afreximbank and other stakeholders on the African continent to establish an efficient and affordable payments and settlement digital platform for cross-border transactions through a digitized pan-African payments and settlement system in support of the implementation of AFCFTA. By providing the requisite settlement backstop and liquidity for this payments and settlement platform, Afreximbank shall be giving practical meaning to our shared objective of an integrated market in Africa. Without an efficient and cost-effective pan-African payments and settlement platform, the private sector will continue to be constrained in accessing new markets under the AFCFTA. We are therefore working flat out to ensure that this digital payments platform is rolled out as soon as possible after trading has started in January 2021.
President Akufo-Addo, who addressed the conference, tasked Ghanaian businesses to take advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is set to commence next year.
Empowered Ghanaian enterprises should be frontline actors of this new exciting journey in Africa's economic history. We owe it to generations unborn to ensure the biggest trading bloc on the globe, whose outcomes will be rewarding to all Africans, in which will assist in attaining the Africa we want, does not falter. I congratulate the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Ghana Export Promotion Authority for leading this effort in preparing Ghana for the African market. In the same vein, I commend all institutions, in particular the United Nations Economic Commission of Africa, Absa Bank, and Stanbic Bank, who supported the organization of this important conference. Let us work together as stakeholders and strategic partners to unravel the complexities of regional integration and ensure that the implementation of the AFCFTA leaves no one behind.
On his part, the Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Kyerematen, reiterated the need for the country to diversify its export base in order to maximize the advantages of the AFCFTA.
In order for us to take advantage of AFTA, Ghana needs to diversify our export base. We can no longer continue to export only cocoa and gold and become an export-led economy. We are not going to be able to export under AFTA cocoa to Cote d'Ivoire, or for Kenya to export coffee to Ethiopia, and vice versa. And most of our countries on the continent all mono-export commodities. And so if, as a country, we want to take advantage of AFTA, we have to diversify our export base and export more of value-added products. And again, I'm pleased that at the core of our national export development strategy is this message of focusing on non-traditional exports.
Those ladies are having a lot of fun. Like growing up, taking pictures was a big deal. You only get to take them during your birthday or Christmas and probably sometimes during Easter. But now with your smartphone, a very good camera, you can easily take them anywhere, anytime at all. But now, how is this new trend affecting business for these roadside photographers and studios where we used to go in the past to take pictures? And how are they faring? Let's find out.
In times past, professional photographers such as those who work at Photo Club, Photo Store, Flash Photos, among others, were the only persons taking pictures at events or even in photo studios. But today, the trend has changed as mobile photography is gradually permeating society. Kweku Dakujima, CEO of Jema Photography, is a professional photographer who has been in the business for over 6 years. Though he admits that mobile photography and technology have been game changers, he does not see the extension of traditional photography business, since there is more to photography than just taking pictures.
It's like you saying that there are a lot of drugs out there, and so I don't need to go and see a doctor. All I need is to go and buy the medicine and drink. Now, you don't have the knowledge and the information you need to select the right medicine that will help you. It's the same way with the photography. We as professional photographers have a certain knowledge in photography where the ordinary person will not have. So in terms of how we are taking the pictures, how we are telling the story, in terms of the perspective from which we are telling the story, how we are editing the pictures to improve the image quality and everything, it's quite unique. And it's not like the information or the knowledge is just out there for you to chance on it and use it to, better your photos. So definitely it doesn't go against us. It rather seeks to improve our work, our final output. And then there's a clear-cut distinction between what a professional photographer took and then what people use their phones to take.
His position was reiterated by Joseph Livingston, owner of DexG Studios.
I think phones have come to replace photography per se. I just think that they've come to help us reach much more larger audience. I think that it's helped people understand and appreciate, or capture the moment that is in front of them in a much more, to be honest, it's actually reduced some of our work. I'll be honest with you, it's reduced some of our work in the sense that the images that we were supposed to be going out there to take and deliver to agencies, news agencies and all that stuff, people are taking with their phones, and it's reduced some of the redundant work that we had to do, but now we can focus on real art and real work.
Photography as we know it today began in the late 1830s in France. Joseph Nice used a portable camera to expose a pewter plate coated with bitumen to light. This was the first recorded image that did not fade quickly. But today, smartphone camera and other tools have reached a point where they can produce images that can be used professionally.
One major advantage of cameras, DSLRs against phone is that with a DSLR, we can interchange lenses. So I can have a lens that has a certain feel, a certain quality to it. But with phones, they are usually fixed lenses. And we don't have much more control over it. The key thing about professional photography and phone photography is that it's about control. How much can you control how you want the image to be captured?
The use of social media and apps like Instagram have also brought innovation to the industry. Lydia Baden, Human Resource Manager at PhotoStore, speaks on strategies their company is putting in place to stay in business.
So for example, you can still take your picture with your phone at home, but if you want it printed out, because it's either you want it in your album, or now there are even nice ways of displaying pictures for birthdays or parties. They want to make it way bigger to display or use it for banner. They still come to us and then we print out for them. So either in the studio or with your phone, you still have pictures printed out, and that also keeps us in business.
Despite these drastic changes, one may think that the advent of technology will limit the patronage of photo studios, but that is not the case entirely.
One is because of the background, because these are professionals. They could choose maybe a background to match with my dress or something. And secondly, because my phone, it's like every day is the same pose. With these people, when you come, they'll show you how to pose, turn this way, turn that way, and it makes the picture very nice. Thirdly, because some friends are just horrible in taking pictures. They're just not good. You can take about 100 pictures and you could only select one out of the 100 pictures. Yeah, so that's why I came. And then the editing, I'm not good at editing. These are professionals, as I said earlier. So when you come here, when they take the pictures, they go through and then make your face smooth. Maybe you have some people somewhere, they could take it off, some black spots somewhere. That's why I came. I just needed something different because they are professionals.
I chose this place to my phone because this place would be edited
as neatly as you want it, and any size you want, you would definitely get it. But with the phone, it's going to take another process. You taking a picture with your phone, going to download a different app to edit your pictures and all that, and it wouldn't be as quality as the professional camera.
With the knowledge that digital photography has come to stay, Joseph has some tips for photographers to stay relevant.
For me, I think that it has to do with how much, one, you keep up with technology, really. If you are able to stay up to date, if you're a photographer and you're not on, say, Instagram or on Facebook, that's cool. Maybe that's what you want. You're not a social media kind of person. But if you're trying to reach a certain target market that lives on social media, then definitely you have to be there. This has nothing to do with the camera or whether it's a phone or a DSLR or any other type of camera. It's just business. Every other business that exists, photography or not, needs to be on social media if their target market is on social media. That's number one, and that's one way of staying relevant. The second way that you can stay relevant is actually relating to people. To be honest with you, when it comes to having clients or working with people, it's not really about the work that you do for them per se, like the product that you produce for them, but sometimes, or most of the time, or about, I would say about, I'll probably say about 70 to 80% of the time, it's about the relationship that you have with the person.
That'll be all for this edition of the Business Weekly Show on Citi TV. For all the latest in the world of business, don't forget to click on citibusinessnews.com. You can also check out our Business Dashboard show on TV for the latest in the world of television when it comes to business news. My name is Michael Ogbodu. Thank you for watching. As always, stay informed.
Comprehensive news. The Citi Newsroom at 8 p.m. on Citi TV is your most engaging news bulletin on TV.
It's a very oh, that's too bad. The youth are still throwing stones. They are still throwing stones here into our direction. And can I come in? I want to come in. Okay.
Telling your stories better with correspondents covering every corner of the country.
Getting access to potable water is a daily struggle for residents of Kakichekopi and Balekopi communities in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region.
Citi Newsroom at 8 p.m. Very fluent with issues that concern you.
This inquiry me come from Mr. Rabbi. Some more is the bread. Told you kind of a 1 week. What are you say?
Is it unfair? What all this? What all this? We are dying! We are dying! We are dying for talk!
With Citi Newsroom, your community is now connected.
In this our community, all of us we are very sorry about this school. If we went to see the children, they are so small. Even my grandchildren are there. My grandsons are there. If they come out from the school, I have this.
Every day at 8 p.m., Citi Newsroom is live on Citi TV.